Ladies and gentlemen.
Is there an election or something?
It feels that smells like victory is upon us.
Nice.
Election 2020 is almost over. We do not have a winner, but we do have an episode.
Yes.
We wanted to come out with an episode post our huge Twitch stream. What a night. I mean, we had balloons. I probably drank an entire bottle of tequila.
You did. It's about a quarter left over there.
It's not even a quarter left.
No, less than a quarter.
We had an incredible time. Thank you to everyone that came out. Thanks to all our friends that joined us.
Special thanks to Omar, Deluxe, and who's the third one?
Mr. Path.
Mr. Path.
Mr. Path
People
coming
loved
out
Mr.
from the
Path.
great state of Ohio that turned red, sadly.
Mm-hmm. He did warn us. He said there was Trump signs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't believe the sign was enough.
Yeah.
I still had some hope there.
They hate LeBron. Only person who brought them a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
No wonder he left.
No wonder he was
Good
like,
riddance.
I appreciate it.
Won your championship. You're still racist. Damn it.
So, we're going to cover all things where we're at the election at this moment.
And a full kind of diagnosis of where we think the country is, both where both parties are wrong and struggling, because I think this was an eye-opening experience, definitely for us, again, from 2016. We didn't learn a lesson in 2016. It's the same lesson in 2020. And I think we have a lot of opinions. We'd love to hear where people disagree with us.
I don't like to hear that.
Yeah, I like engagement. Isn't that good for a podcast to go viral?
I guess.
Who knows?
Rate and review us. Go in our iTunes and rate and review and tell us where you think we're wrong or where we think you think
I don't
we're
want
right.
bad stuff in our reviews.
You have to get 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars and tell us where you are.
All right, 5 stars. Tell us we're the best and keep it moving.
And then we're going to talk all things election, give you an update on where we're at with the election. This episode is coming out. We recorded Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we wrapped. So there will be updates past this, but there's a lot of great discussion regarding, how did we end up here? How did we end up in such a close race? And then we dive into my favorite company, Peloton. Earnings came out. We also talk about goPuff. We've kind of came to the conclusion that America loves a few things: vaping, cigarettes, alcohol, masturbation, gambling. That is what America is. USA all the way.
All the way.
And winners, losers, content. Hottest section we have. And I want to get back to the Twitch thing. The Twitch thing was so incredible. The engagement was amazing.
Yes.
Blown away by just everyone. We were on air for 6 hours.
6+ hours. I think we finished up at like 6:01, 6:02.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got home after midnight.
Yes.
And my wife's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was just...
And I was blackout drunk.
It's like, what the fuck happened?
6 hours was insane. I don't know how we did that.
And
we talked the whole time.
It was a steamrolling ball. Like, once it got going, there was no stopping it. It was such a good time.
I mean, yeah, we had, I think a total of like 7,000 people come through the entire night.
Yep.
So, like, shout out to all the 7,000 people that came through.
Yes.
That's like us playing the Palladium, right?
It claims like 10,000.
Okay, we'll call it.
We're right there. I mean, it's like a B, C-list celebrity artist.
We're at 7,000.
That's pretty good.
So we're planning to do a lot of things on Twitch.
Yes.
We want to do events there and probably do stuff more at night.
Yes.
Because, we get to loosen up a little.
Yep.
That's when the fun begins.
But you got to go over there.
6 hours is a lot.
Right, 6 hours.
Someone's got to be paying us if we're doing 6 hours.
But we're not, so get over there now and go ahead and subscribe and follow over at twitch.tv/groupchatpod, or you can just search Group Chat Pod, get in early on it.
Yeah.
Because if you do it later down the road, you're going to regret it.
Yeah. So, look out because, we may even go on tonight, might go tomorrow night. We don't know.
Yeah.
We might just hop on.
Right.
But we're excited about what's happening on Twitch.
Ton of fun.
And so let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to announce the next president of the United States.
Who we got?
I still think it's going to be Joe Biden. The country hasn't decided.
Yeah. So we're kind of calling it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of take a step back over the last couple days. So
let's give the time. So right now it's Thursday, 1:45 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time. Where we sit at this moment is that Arizona has not been called by CNN, has been called by Fox. Nevada has not been called. Georgia has not been called. North Carolina has not been called. Pennsylvania has not been called. Arizona and Nevada looks like is tomorrow, which being Friday. Looks like they're expecting some more votes today to come in, but it doesn't sound like they're going to be able to give a projection probably till tomorrow.
And the way Georgia and Pennsylvania currently stand Thursday at 1:45 p.m. is Donald Trump has a 12,000 vote lead in Georgia.
Yeah.
There's 48,000 votes to be counted.
Yeah.
They're all from Democratic suburbs. So he needs about 63 to 65%, which I think the Biden campaign is fairly confident. But the real story is Pennsylvania. There's 340,000 votes left, and he needs 60 to 65% of those votes to win Pennsylvania. And it looks like he's been pacing at like 70 to 80% in those counties that are left, because it's primarily the Philly suburbs. So I think the Biden campaign feels very strongly at Pennsylvania's theirs, and Biden came out, or his campaign manager came out this morning saying once the votes are counted, we're confident Joe Biden will be president. Nancy Pelosi came out and says we have the mandate for a Democratic agenda. And so the Democrats feel very confident right now. Obviously, there's multiple lawsuits being filed in every state. So the Trump campaign wants to stop counting in places where they're ahead and keep counting in places like Arizona where they think they win.
Just to remind people how fucking stupid this guy is and the people running his campaign. So, when you see these protests happening in different cities on both parties, often it's organized by the party itself. They're telling, hey, get your people on the ground in Maricopa County in Arizona and go storm the thing to create the CNN headline, create the Fox News headline that they're stealing the election. They're stealing the election. And that's the narrative that Donald Trump has been talking about for 3 months.
Right.
You know why? He knew he was going to lose.
Yes.
The math had shown that this guy was going to lose. So what did he do? He prepared everyone for this day. He prepared for the moment when, there's counting is taking longer. They're going to find irregularities in different parts of the country.
Ballots just got dumped from Democratic suburbs.
Yeah, just like, nonsense. We haven't heard any wrongdoing. I've been following all the Secretary of States from all these battleground states. They are so confident that everything is being done by the book. There's no chaos inside the voting counting area.
And just kind of a logistical note, in these polling centers, there are both Republican and Democratic operatives that are watching them count to make sure there's nothing improper going on.
And so all these lawsuits are revolving around everything from why aren't our people allowed there? So, a good chunk of lawsuits have already been tossed out. There are other lawsuits that are pending regarding potential ballots that should not be counted for, a number of reasons. So they seem to be winning a couple motions there. It's not clear what's going to happen. But the way that, if you follow 538, which is Nate Silver's website.
Which actually everyone should stop following. Because he's literally been wrong on everything 2 election cycles in a row.
Sure, but he's giving you just facts on what's happening on the legal side of things. He's the quickest to share that information. And what they've gathered from the Secretary of State that in some of these counties where they're saying irregular ballots, you're talking 300 votes, 600 votes. It's not like 60,000 votes are going to get thrown out of this situation. So look, at the end of the day, it looks like even in Clark County where there's still a big chunk of votes where in Nevada is Las Vegas, that's going to lean Democratic.
Heavily
Democratic.
And that's the whole state.
That's the whole state. So most of the votes are coming from Clark County. So if that holds up, if Nevada and Arizona come in, it doesn't even matter what happens for the rest of the country. But my gut tells me is that Nevada's going to come in, Arizona's going to come in, Pennsylvania's going to come in, and Georgia's going to come in. And it's going to, I know what I said before the election day episode, I felt that like it was going to be a landslide. So here's where I was wrong. I think a lot of people, I'll say people like myself who live in Los Angeles, we are surrounded only by like-minded people. Like there's, if you are a Trump supporter in LA or in California, you are the silent minority. Mm-hmm. You're silent and nobody knows you exist.
Yep.
Right? Except for Newport Beach. The rest of the country is very, very different. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. And I had this optimistic view that there was a sense of, a lot of people talk about values in life and the fact that so much of the country will say that like American values this, American values that, but then they'll go and vote for a person like Donald Trump who actually does not express the greatest parts about being an American. He actually is the worst part about being an American. Mm-hmm. The arrogance, just the greed, the lack of empathy. That's not America. That's not why America is the greatest country in the world. So I always viewed, okay, I get why there is a portion of the population that votes for Donald Trump because they believe that message of elitism that he is pushing. But it's crazy, coming full circle, now that we have the demographics of who voted, white people still, majority voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, so if you want to get in that discussion, let me just address the lawsuits first, and then we can kind of talk about just the broader electorate and what this election, which I think was very telling in my opinion. So just from the lawsuits perspective, there's lawsuits in multiple states, and the reason why, if the vote count goes the way people are assuming, which is a Biden victory, the reason why the lawsuits are futile is because every state is a different reason.
Yeah.
And it's not like Florida in 2000 where you zeroed in on one state, and when you go to the Supreme Court, there's only one thing you're pushing.
Yep.
Here, you're pushing 4 different things, and it's different in each state. So if it gets to Supreme Court, they just can't, they're going to have to set precedent. Yeah. And it's going to, in my opinion, get thrown out.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the broader thing. So what I think was very clear that the country told politicians and both parties is that a progressive left agenda is not what the country wants. And I think the AOC and Elizabeth Warren wing of the party has been completely neutered. They do not represent the majority of this country. People are more center than they are progressive left. And I think between Hollywood celebrities and late night talk shows, there's this assumption that everyone actually believes in these progressive values, and that's not the case. So there's 67 million people, probably plus or minus a few 100,000, it seems like, that would have voted for Donald Trump. Do I believe 67 million people in this country are racist? No.
65.
So if you kind of zoom out, sorry to use your copyrighted term, Tim.
Yeah,
that's all right. I'll bill you.
Okay, yeah. Bill me for zoom out. I think what Donald Trump represents is he's kind of a menu of, I feel like most of the country right now is angry. What they're angry about for every person is very different. And he's a menu of anger. So if you're angry about lockdowns, he's your guy.
Yeah.
If you're angry about taxes, he's your guy. If you're angry about woke culture, he's your guy. If you're angry about cancel culture, he's your guy. If you're angry about coastal people, specifically I think Hollywood, thumbing their nose at rural America and saying this is the only way to live, I think it was a big fuck you. And we saw this in 2016, and the Democratic Party learned nothing. Hollywood elites learned nothing. Stop talking down to these people and actually have a message. Just saying Donald Trump's bad is the reason why this election might be an electoral landslide, but when you look at the votes in these states, it's tens of thousands of people across 4 states.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely pathetic, and it's not what anyone thought was going to happen. People thought this was going to be a Democratic left agenda mandate, and it's just not true. And if the Democratic Party doesn't get their fucking shit together and learn how to actually talk to the country in a way that actually is messaging something, not just, hey, be nice, be kind, and we're the guys for you, you're going to get your ass handed into 2024.
So here's what I think. I think AOC and her crew have power, and they are not backing down. I also think
they're going to ruin the Democratic Party.
Sure, and I think the extreme right of the Republican Party has extreme power. So what I think is really going to happen is very similar to what's happening in the world, because information is now available to everyone and people get to choose. I like this person. I like what Donald Trump has to say. I like what the QAnon woman has to say. I like what this person has to say. Everyone gets to choose whatever they're interested in. Before, mainstream media controlled 2 narratives. You're either a Republican or you're a Democrat, and all Democrats think like this, and all Republicans think like this. Now there's a huge variation of what a Republican is, and there's a huge variation of what a Democrat is. And the problem is, I think it's bad for both parties. I actually don't think it's just a Democrat issue, because there are people on the Republican Party that have a centrist view, have conservative, they're fiscally conservative, maybe they're socially liberal, maybe they're not, but they're more in the middle than anything. And there's people in the Republican Party that they're like AOC gone completely wrong on the right side with the conspiracies and nonsense.
So this is actually what I think. I think the country is pretty center. I think that's very clear. And here's the
talking heads are not.
Sure, but here's the difference. The center person can ignore the alt-right and say, I'm not a racist, I'm not a conspiracy theory, but there's enough things on the Republican Trump menu that I'm okay with. But guess what I'm definitely not okay with? Socialism, taxing everyone, saying that every big company is an evil person. Jeff Bezos needs to give away all his money. Zuckerberg's the devil. Like, they're not okay with it. So we can sit here
so here's the problem. You're right, but AOC has fucking power, and she didn't get neutered. She still has her position, and she's not going to back down.
I know, and her and Elizabeth Warren, in my opinion, are the reason why, and their messaging is the reason why Biden isn't winning by a landslide.
So Biden, just for everyone's math perspective, got the most votes ever by a percentage and by absolute number ever for a total vote of a presidency. So he was very, very popular.
That's just because the electorate.
I'm saying on the popular vote, not the absolute number, percentage of votes available. Joe Biden got more.
No, it's going to be within 3.5 million. That's not possible.
He got 33% of the total vote. Barack got 32 at the peak. 33% of the potential voting population voted for Joe Biden, right? So I think when you look at the popularity of Joe Biden, it was clear. The issue becomes, if you look regionally, there are different things people are concerned with, right? So in South Florida, it was the socialism talk. In different parts of the country, it was lockdown talk. In different parts of the country, it is about immigration. In different parts of the country. And the thing about it is, this is why it's so fragmented. You can't have a unified message as a party. What Donald Trump did, which was smart, was in Florida, it was about socialism. In Vegas, it was about lockdowns. In blah, 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 in some border town in Texas, it's probably about immigration. Yeah. He's just switching up wherever he goes, and he's adapting to that community. So that's where the smart thing is the problem is when you look at we're so used to a national goal or a national agenda on both parties. That doesn't matter. You know why? Because my life is different from that person's life in Oklahoma, whose person's different life from the person in Atlanta, who's different from the person in life in Chicago. So everyone has such a different view of the world. And so you can't have these brazen national policies because it does, you can't do a national mask fucking mandate because there are states that are fully fucking open that they don't care. So saying national mask mandate is stupid. And Donald Trump knows that you just have to play to your audience when you're talking to them. There's not
all politics are retail.
Yeah,
local. Sorry, all politics are local.
And that to me is very. Democrats are marketing themselves very differently. Where it's healthcare for all. Unfortunately, in this country, we will never fucking have healthcare for all. We don't believe equality for all people. We don't believe that everyone should get free education. We don't believe in healthcare for all. People say, I work for my money. I work for this. That's the response you get when you say, why can't we help out? Give everyone free healthcare and free education. That is free healthcare and free education is socialism in America.
So what I think is a resounding defeat of the Democratic agenda, and this is separate from Joe Biden, it's that in the House, they're going to lose 2 seats. Yeah. Not one GOP incumbent that was up for re-election lost.
Yeah.
And I thought there was going to be this blue wave. Everyone thought even if it wasn't going to be a blue wave, there's going to be some inroads made in Congress.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the case. We may have a 50-50 Senate.
Yeah.
There's going to be a runoff in Georgia, it looks like, for 2 seats. But I think it's a repudiation of the Democratic agenda and the way they market it. Guess what? If your tax plan is your tax plan, stop marketing it like I'm taxing the rich. No one wants to hear that because that aspiring worker that thinks he's going to be rich is be like, I don't want that. When I'm rich, I don't want to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
Even if you're not rich. It's what your point was when everyone was complaining about top 1%. Guess what? This is America. Anyone can make it.
Yeah.
And that person who's has their side hustle, their business. Every entrepreneur thinks they're going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Whether it's delusional or not, the only reason you become an entrepreneur is because you think you're building something great. And if you build something great, you're going to be very rich.
Yeah.
And whether the percentages are 0.1, 0.2, 1%, whatever the number is, you only do that if you have that aspiration.
No,
and
I
that
agree.
messaging is just stupid. And whether that's a tax plan you want to go legislate once you get in office, fine, go do it. Don't campaign on that.
So, but here's the problem is that the things that the Democratic Party, I'm a Democrat. I'll always be a Democrat. I believe in free healthcare and free education. You know what America doesn't believe in? Is fucking free healthcare and free education. So you can't even market things that are sane. You have to market extremes, right? Because everyone's fighting.
No, but you have to market extremes in a positive way. Saying I'm taking away from the rich and giving to the poor.
Yeah.
Poor people don't even want to hear that.
Yeah. They're happy being poor. They don't.
That's a bad marketing angle.
I agree. I think when it comes to taxes.
No, but Donald Trump goes and lies to everyone and says he's giving healthcare to everyone.
Yeah.
Whether he does or not, it doesn't matter. That's not even his agenda.
Well, herein lies the problem is that when you look at, we're talking about the presidency of the United States being a marketing exercise, and it's not a policy exercise.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that is the problem, is that Democrats, there's a part of Democrats that still feel like we have to follow through on what we fucking say. Right? Like these people are still sitting there, Bernie Sanders and AOC. Bernie Sanders believes everyone should get free healthcare and education. That is what he's been fighting for till he dies. That's just what he believes in. The problem is there's a disconnect because that is not what America wants to hear. And so if you're like, Donald Trump's a snake oil salesman, right? So he'll just say anything to fucking win. And I've said this a million times. The Democrats need to swallow their fucking pride, sit on their sword, and say whatever the fuck you have to say to win. Once you're in power, you could do whatever the hell you want. And if it reflects positive on the country, you will be reelected. If it's not, you will be fucking removed. Very simple. But you have to, the problem is Democrats are going into this thing thinking in their mind, being self-righteous, that we're going to do something great for this country. The problem is that message does not resonate. Like, for example, it's so much about like the loudest voice in the room, and like here's climate change is a great example. Climate change is like a 20-something urban cause.
Yep.
Right? Who don't decide the fate of our country. 20-something-year-old people in urban cities are not who we are trying to convince to win. Democrats won handedly every major city in the country. And when I look at, like, for example, there were some inroads made on Latino voters across the country. I think like double. It went from like 4% to 8%. It was still small. It's insignificant. But they made some inroads there, the Republican Party. The black community voted heavy for fucking Biden. So the good news is Lil Wayne and Kanye and all those idiots had no impact on winning. And like, if Biden wins Georgia, it's because of Atlanta.
Yes, absolutely.
If he wins Pennsylvania, because of Philadelphia.
Yep.
That's it. he could become president because of the black community.
If you want to go, is Detroit and Michigan, and there's Milwaukee and Wisconsin.
Exactly. All predominantly black cities. So
he turned out the black vote more than Hillary did.
Which is what's crazy is I didn't hear the black message enough during the campaign. There's a lot of black folks that I talked to that said, hey, I don't really want to vote for the guy, but I'm not letting Donald Trump win.
Yeah, I think even in Atlanta, I was reading some data that, yes, the black vote turned out in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it was also the woman in Buckhead that wears Lululemon that is like, I'm done with this guy.
Yeah.
And they turned up in large numbers for favor of Biden. So I also think we have to understand that national media and Twitter don't represent the country.
Oh, no.
And it's so easy to get fooled because the polling industry needs to end. That needs to completely be eliminated. We should never look at a poll ever again because it's not reflective of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was favored plus 10 in Wisconsin. I saw even something that was plus 13. Oh, Wisconsin's big. No, Wisconsin came down to the last handful of votes.
Yeah.
Same in Michigan. Same will be in Pennsylvania.
Look, when it's all said and done, I bet you all the pollsters on the presidential side, they'll probably come pretty damn close. They missed Senate by fucking 100
I don't think
miles.
the presidential is going to come close. If he was really, truly, the last NBC Wall Street Journal poll, which was the most talked about poll, was a plus 10% on the national. It's not even going to be close to that.
No, but from an electoral standpoint, what state did they really miss when it's all said and done? He held
from an electoral standpoint. You're talking electoral standpoint on tens of thousands of votes across 5 states.
I mean, that's what Trump won in last year.
I
right?
agree, and the polls are wrong then. The polls are wrong now.
I agree, and
they're wrong both ways.
Well, here's what it is. The funny thing about it is they say the silent majority for Trump voters. They're clearly not the majority. They're the minority. I think if you're a conservative person or a Republican or a Trump supporter in America, unless you live in a town, some rural town where it's clearly prideful about being a Trump supporter, you just don't share your information, right? How a Democrat's telling everyone he's a Democrat or she's a Democrat.
And no one's proud to be a Trump supporter.
No one's proud to be. I mean,
there are. Sorry, that's an incorrect statement.
Depends on your environment.
And a centrist person isn't proud. A strong holding conservative is proud to be a Trump voter.
Yeah.
A center Trump voter is not talking about it.
The reason why Donald Trump is even close is not the people that wear MAGA hats.
No.
Those people, they were going to vote no matter what for whoever the candidate was. It's those people that, you don't know who they are, what their deal is. And in the ballot box, it's them and that fucking machine. And it's between them and their higher power.
I honestly think it's as simple as he gave you more options in the buffet than Biden did.
Yeah. And the problem with the Biden buffet was there's things like climate change.
Yeah, no one cares about that.
Unfortunately, I remember reading last election, the average voter was either 45 or 54. I could be getting those numbers mixed up. Let's say it's 54 years old. The average 54-year-old person, I'm sorry, does not give a fuck about climate change.
No, they care about paying their bills.
Yes.
Are they going to keep their jobs?
Here, I'll give you the best example of how your mentality shifts. I now have 2 kids. What is important to me today versus what was important to me 10 years ago is very, very different. What I valued in my society and community, I've always cared about education. I've always cared about, equality for all and betterment of society. But to wrap my head around climate change, just speaking for myself, it's very, very difficult when I go for a walk and I have to see 30 homeless people. And then I have to see buildings boarded up. And I have to see my friends losing their businesses or jobs. It's very fucking hard for me to care about that stuff. I'm like I understand how important it is. I watched Planet Earth. I understand what David Attenborough is saying. But I also understand the common person, unfortunately, policy has to be made between companies to improve themselves. Don't put that burden on fucking the American people. of like, you have to help us dictate policy. Why don't we hold the companies accountable, make them fucking change, they're the ones polluting the environment, not us.
Right.
Like, what am I doing that's like harmful? You sold me a car that's making gas. Change that policy.
Right. No, that's a good point. But I also think what your larger point is, and if you're a family of 4, you're inherently going to be selfish, and that's not wrong.
No.
You care about providing for your family, and you care about raising healthy children, and you want to make their lives best as possible. For you to step back and care about, if you're in Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, all these states that are going to determine the election, are you going to care about concentration camps in China?
Yeah.
When you're trying to put food on the table.
Yeah, you can't. You're struggling.
You're struggling.
You lost your job.
You lost your job. Don't campaign on that.
Yeah.
Deal with that policy once you get in office.
Yeah.
Go, when you're doing trade deals, say, I need this thrown in.
Yes, and that's the marketing of the Democrats. They're trying to be like, we are just better people.
Yeah, and you're not.
Yeah, and so when that is your message, you lose people because...
And it's I'm better than you. I think that's the big problem with the Democratic Party, because it's unconscionable for a left-wing Democratic person to even think that anyone could vote for Trump, and that's just not the case. It's not unconscionable, and until Democrats understand that and stop thumbing their nose at Trump voters, this is going to repeat itself. There's going to be a new person with the same message that's going to hammer in these communities, and we're going to have an election where we wait 4 days because it's so tight.
And well, here's the thing: it's really hard to find another Donald Trump, because his idiot sons are not that clever.
No.
So it's not going to be, probably all be in jail soon. But everyone, he's a very rare breed because like he's soulless, right? Even if you look at all the people that worked for him, that went to jail or left the party, they've all quietly come out and said like, this guy's a fucking maniac, and they were like his dude. And so I think it's very hard to find someone like this. I also think what happens in life, you revert back to the mean. Joe Biden is the mean.
He could lower the temperature of the country.
That's the first step. Is what's going to happen now? We're going to have press. If Joe Biden's president, we're going to have press conferences. And guess what? No one's going to
care. Great. That's the best thing to happen. If we can go... After Joe Biden is president, we should never be talking politics on this podcast.
Yeah, and
if that happens, then the country's in a good place.
Yeah, and that's what I think is actually going to happen, is that, so Barack Obama brought us Donald Trump. Donald Trump brought us the rise of AOC. Joe Biden is...
Just shuts all of it down.
and by the way, I was listening to someone that covered the Senate in the Obama years, and they said that Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell work well together.
Yeah, because they've been around
40 years.
I mean, Mitch McConnell, I think, is 80. This guy's 78.
And so when Joe Biden was vice president, Mitch McConnell was the Republican head.
What if they're this new duo, Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Mitch McConnell has lasted this long for a reason. Yes, I hate his guts, but he's not like, he wants to remain in power. And if he has to play ball with Joe Biden's not going to be a guy that's going to go make fun of Mitch McConnell. No. He's not going to talk down to these people. I actually don't think Joe Biden really talked down to anyone during this whole race. And I think he's just going to go to Mitch and be like, come on, old school, locker room talk.
Get this cigar in the back room. That's how politics used to be.
Yeah,
done,
and
right?
I think that's what it's going to be. And what's going to happen is when nobody is stoking the flame every single week, and you know what happens? Everyone calms down. And when everyone calms down, we'll revert back to the mean, and politics will go back to what it was, non-eventful, but still make progress.
Yeah, that's the hope, because the political atmosphere of the last kind of decade, it includes Obama because it was so pop culture mainstream, is that not only were the politicians celebrities, the people covering them became celebrities, the cabinet posts became celebrities. We should not know any of these people. Yeah. You shouldn't know who Jim Acosta is. You should not know who Jake Tapper is. You should not know who any of these people are.
Okay,
they're like mainstream celebrities at this point.
I know, but I don't also think, I think what we do have right now is an engaged country that at the end of the day, all the 150 million people that voted, in their mind, they want to live in a better country.
course.
So I think there's an opportunity here, and I think you take away the anger. People were not this angry, during the Obama years.
No, they were. They were just quiet. That's why we got Trump.
Sure, but I like it quiet.
No, but that was the silent anger which was brewing in the country because a black man was in power.
Sure, but we also put out not the best candidate.
Sure.
So if Joe Biden was the candidate in 2016, would we have Donald Trump? I don't know. I don't think there was hatred for Hillary Clinton. Hatred. Yeah. Nobody has come out and said, I hate Joe Biden.
But I do think whether someone would have beaten Donald Trump in 2016 is actually irrelevant to the point that no one's talking to those people.
Yeah.
And those people actually are part of this country. And the only way the country gets better is if they are along for the ride. We can't have a country where you have 5 tech companies and they control, and that's your only pathway to living a better life.
That's the problem. What needs to happen are some unfortunate fucking socialist policies.
You have to mask it. We just did socialism for the rich. No one talked about it.
Yeah, of course, because
we just pumped $7 trillion into the economy, and we basically guaranteed the debt of every public company. No one goes bankrupt. Who went bankrupt that's publicly traded?
Nobody.
No major company. No. And everyone's business is in the toilet.
Yeah, but here's the problem is that what is the ultimate equalizer? Education and opportunity. Those 67 million people that voted for Donald Trump, they are not, forget the wealthy people, the actual 99% of people that voted for Donald Trump are missing out on economic equality.
Yep.
But they don't want free fucking education for everyone.
So you have to change the messaging. You change what you call it, because the same person that is saying, I worked for my money and I'm rich, is because the stock market just is at an all-time high because the Fed has printed unlimited trillions of dollars of money to make sure the stock market's high. They foolishly think they made their money.
Yes.
Because all their money is in the stock market.
Yeah, of course.
The average person, their 401ks doubled in the last 10 months.
And they had nothing to do with them.
Nothing to do with them. That was called socialism.
Yes.
But you have to mask it because no one wants to hear that word.
I agree. And the only way those 67 million people are, they were talking about fracking? Fracking? Coal?
What the fuck is fracking?
I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. It's just getting oil.
No, it's jobs in the Midwest. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Forget what it is. That fracking equals jobs in the Midwest.
Okay. So knowing that probably fracking 10 years from now is going to be gone.
Fracking's the reason why the U.S. is now a net oil exporter than an importer for the first time ever.
Okay. Why oil? Isn't Elon Musk putting out electric cars?
But these are the states that matter.
I understand. Jobs. This is where, if you're an enterprising politician, you educate the community on what the future holds and bring companies that are on the cutting edge.
Yeah,
convince.
Yeah, so if you really want to be smart about it, is you this is how the fake socialism is what you do. Just don't use that word. That word is toxic.
Yeah,
you can't use it.
Yeah,
you will lose every election if you talk about socialism.
Yeah, the problem,
because no one actually understands what it means and don't understand the mechanics. So if you put it differently, you go to Tesla and say, "I'll give you $5 billion. Go create
in Pennsylvania."
Yes.
Yeah, which is socialism.
Yes. But you talk about it as I'm investing in infrastructure.
Yeah. Of course, you got to mask it. I understand that, and I think that's what the messaging. Unfortunately for the Democrats, until Bernie Sanders is gone, that message. You see these young kids like Tim. You're probably a Bernie bro.
Oh yeah.
See, do you know how many Tims there are?
There are a lot of Tims, but there's a lot of people who don't even know it's. There's a lot of people making $200,000 to $400,000 that just saw their stock market portfolio and 401k double and say, "I don't like that socialism."
Yeah, of course.
I worked for my money.
I get it. The problem is Tim is 20. What are you? 24?
23.
23. They are the next generation. They're an entire generation that believes in Bernie fucking Sanders. So they're not going to just change their mind. Maybe when they get older, their values evolve.
Well, they got to vote.
Yeah. And I think they did. The problem is there's just not a big enough group. The problem is there's not one big enough group for anything because it's all fragmented. It's like everyone has a fucking voice now. Freedom of speech.
Yeah. No, I don't know either. I think if the country calms down and we stop paying attention to every political press conference. Like, I should not be like rushing to my TV at 3 p.m. in my office to hear Donald Trump talk.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Yeah. That's what I was doing this entire
every fucking day. It's on. Grab your fucking popcorn.
Yeah. Like, I should never want to tune in to a Biden press conference unless it was something critical that's being announced and I was interested in it. The daily stuff, we should be engaged, but we shouldn't be following it the way we are because it's, bad for everyone, everyone's emotional health. I mean, right now, on either side, the other side is evil.
Yeah.
It's not even like, I mean, we were adults when Bush and Al Gore and Bush and John Kerry, like, there are plenty of people like, I'd rather vote for George Bush. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm voting for John Kerry. There's no discussion past that. No. Right?
Yeah. Well, the problem is it's a process of, we live in a world where everyone has access to information and people have now interpret information differently. So like I got DMs are like, oh, so Biden's stealing the election. You saw that? What do you think about that? Biden's stealing the election. I'm like, what channel are you watching? I'm not watching that channel. Trump's telling people to stop voting, stop counting. The other one is saying to start counting. I mean, like, but unfortunately, we live in this digital information age where information is what you want it to be. And so that is going to brainwash people. Do you know how many? I would love to be a 47-year-old white male on the internet in the Midwest for a day, right now. I want to know what that guy is seeing on his computer. Because he's seeing some crazy shit. He's seeing... These communists are going to steal the election from us. That is what he's saying.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to note is outside the coast, I don't think people are following news like this.
No, I agree. I disagree. I think
now. Yeah. But the last 4 years, they weren't paying attention to every tweet. They weren't paying attention to every soundbite because I just don't think they're just sitting and watching Fox News all day.
Never before in the history of a president has it ever felt like a TV show, like a reality TV show. Yeah. And it's like, as much, these people love to watch reality TV shows. That's what their whole lives, it's all about, like, the reality, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And you get that perspective and maybe that's why they might have those type of outlooks. Yeah. But then it's like, now you do it from a president. Yeah. They like don't know how to distinguish the two.
Right. And I think the other thing I want to point out, I want to pat myself on the back. On the live stream, I made it very clear that the betting markets were a complete sham all night. So at one point, it got to minus 600 that Donald Trump was going to win. Minus 600 is a slam dunk.
The luck of the century.
Yeah. Like, it's over. Stop counting. Yeah. It's done.
Well, a lot of these, like Dave Portnoy fucking crashed and burned.
What an idiot.
Yeah. He said it's over. It's over. And this is why.
And he came back the next day.
Oh, you know he just did that for the attention.
It was smart. It was smart.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah. But here's my point. Attention. Why the betting markets are so stupid, and just because it turned out in 2016, everyone thinks it's going to be...
2016 is an anomaly.
It's a black swan event. Yeah. And to that, from a political data standpoint, it's a black swan event. Because no one knew this whole entire part of the country even existed and that it was brewing for so long, and now we actually know. Here's the problem with the betting markets. I'm sure there's billions and billions of dollars that was bet all around the world, and the majority of the money was actually international. Yeah, so you're talking it's London, Australia, it's fun. Asia. Yeah. So you're telling me international gamblers, even if they're whales, know what county by county votes that have been and have not been counted at 9 p.m. on election night? No. Like, get out of here.
I saw...
That's just so foolish that even the smartest people were talking about the bank. The All In podcast, they're all brilliant. They're all billionaires. I have so much respect for them. They live potted the election. I listened to it the next day. They were treating the betting markets like it was gospel. And they're like, oh, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win. I was like, you guys are stewards of capital. Except for Chamath and Jason. They were like, I still think Biden's going to win. The rest of them were like, oh, it's Trump. It's done. Gambling market says. Like, the gambling markets know
because they're men and they're idiots.
What votes are coming out of counties? Gambling market?
I know you don't like 538, but on election night, I got home and I went on 538, and they broke down the available ballots by county for all these states, and they said this is where it's trending. They're like, we just do not see this not all fall for Biden, and once you have some data, you can see how Biden wins.
Yeah, because the smart exercise, and it's nothing to do with the gambling markets because they're not actually studying in a tight election
emotion.
which counties are. It's just emotion. Oh, it looks like Florida flipped. Oh, Florida 2000, all of Florida matters. Guess what? No one knew Georgia was going to be a toss-up because the suburbs in Atlanta turned out in record numbers. Yeah. No one knew that Philly hadn't been counted when all these numbers were coming out. That Wayne County in Michigan hadn't been counted. Milwaukee. I mean, and we knew all through it. This is why it was so stupid, the betting markets, because it's been widely reported that the likely thing to happen on election day was there going to be this red mirage because Donald Trump campaigned that mail-in ballots are fraudulent. Yeah. And if you don't show up, your vote doesn't count. Yeah. He campaigned on that for the last 2-3 months. So who showed up? Donald Trump voters. Who mailed in? Democratic voters. Yeah. So you count the votes that are in person first, you're going to have this red mirage. And then once you count the mail-in, so how are the gambling markets? They're so stupid and inefficient.
They're dumb. I couldn't believe there was a point when Donald Trump was that, but wasn't so drunk. I would totally have bet on Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It was like plus 500.
Yeah, you would have made a killing.
It's just insane that we would even hold that as gospel in an election.
Yeah. And it was very smart people all claiming that it's over, 9 p.m., let's stop the count. Votes haven't even counted. Mail-in votes haven't even started counting in multiple states.
So on social media, on Twitter, there were local reporters. So I started following a guy in Philadelphia, a guy in Detroit, and they were like, the entire county has not been counted yet. Yeah. It's going to be like 80% for Joe Biden. What are these people talking about?
And it was also cool for smart people to pretend they're contrarian, saying it's going to be Trump. You guys don't get it. Yeah. It's going to be Trump. That was like the cool contrarian smart guy, whether you're a conservative or liberal. Yeah. I saw that over and over on my Twitter feed. Like, oh, I'm playing chess. You're playing checkers. I know what's going on. Yeah. 2016 was just an anomaly.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I think the right now we're just waiting. It's really, I mean, if Pennsylvania gets called tonight, it's over. He has the votes. And then, because that's 20 electoral votes, so that puts him at 273. If Arizona and Nevada get called, then it's over. There's obviously many different ways for Joe Biden to be president. I don't think there's many ways that Donald Trump, I mean, he has to win, I think. He can only lose one of the states, I think. And he can't lose.
There's no pathway without Pennsylvania.
Yeah, without Pennsylvania. So shout out to everyone in Philly and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, those are the cities.
You guys might have picked our president.
Yeah, hopefully get rewarded. Pittsburgh's 8-0, right? In NFL?
Yeah, you guys get an 8-0 team and they picked our president. And shout out to Pittsburgh Gazette who endorsed Trump. Idiots.
Really?
Yeah. First time they endorsed a Republican president ever. I don't know if you also noticed this. It was a really interesting in Nebraska. So there's a possibility that Biden only gets 270.
Yep.
If he wins Arizona, Nevada, and loses the rest. Mm-hmm. So the interesting story is if you look in the middle of the country, Nebraska, there's a blue dot, and it says 1 electoral college to Joe Biden. And people were kind of confused by that. Like, why is there a split electoral college system in Nebraska? Happened in Maine also. That one vote could potentially put Joe Biden at 270. Because if he only wins Arizona, Nevada, he's at 270. So a friend of mine, Mikey, sends me this article of why that happened. So interesting story. In 2016, Nebraska State Senator Tommy Garrett, a Republican from Bellevue, had proposed a bill to legalize medical marijuana. The bill was not successful. Also in 2016, the Nebraska state legislature debated a bill that would revert Nebraska to a winner-take-all system for determining electoral votes. The bill was strongly supported by most Republicans and looked likely to pass. The pass needed 33 votes to overcome a filibuster. When it came time to vote on the final bill to make Nebraska winner-take-all, Senator Garrett flipped and voted against the change, saying, my conservative colleagues can go pound sand. The bill only got 32 votes. It needed 33. All because they wouldn't fucking pass this medical marijuana bill this guy wanted. So that became the reason why there's 1 electoral college. Imagine if the vote ends where Joe Biden gets 270.
Yeah.
That's where the number is because these idiots in Nebraska wouldn't give marijuana a medical statewide legislation. And this is interesting because there was a clear kind of mandate by America on drugs. It got approved everywhere.
Drugs, everyone wants drugs.
Okay, in Oregon, you can heroin, cocaine, mushrooms, doesn't matter. It's all decriminalized now.
Right.
Like you can just go do blow at your coffee shop. Is that what I'm hearing?
Hell yeah. You goddamn right.
Maybe. I mean,
imagine Bootsy Bella's Portland.
I
So pretty much you can get away with supposedly everything in a $100 ticket, or you get sent to like rehab or something.
Yeah,
if I read it correctly.
So, I mean, it's just interesting, these little stories of how, electoral college. And what happened in Maine? Because I saw that's also split.
So Maine's the other state where they have 4 electoral votes. One goes to who won the majority in the state, 2 congressional districts, and it got split up. I think it was 3-1. So that got split up. That's one of 2 states like Nebraska that's not winner take all. And then I think a underreported story thus far, given how close the election is when we talk about what King James and More Than a Vote did and direct impact. So rewind to the bubble when they were about to cancel the season. LeBron and a few other CP3 and I forget who else was on the call, got on the phone with Barack Obama and they were like, what should we do? And Barack Obama talked about this shop, and it was reported at the time that Barack Obama told LeBron and the other guys, like, this is your chance to demand more from owners. Like, come up with the list. Here are the things that we want. Here are the things that are important to us. We go through this checklist. We'll restart the bubble and finish the season. So some of it was investing in communities. And I think they got the owners to commit to like $300 million to invest in underserved communities. But not more importantly, but equally as important when it comes to this election is they made the owners use their arenas as polling places. So the Atlanta Hawks Stadium had 40,000 people vote in the stadium in Georgia.
Because you just want to go to the stadium. It's cool.
A lot of people probably have never been to that stadium. Yeah. Like, it's my shot to go to where the Hawks play.
Yeah.
And 40,000 people that voted in Atlanta, majority would have been Democratic.
Yeah.
And we're talking Georgia may be a 5,000 swing state. Think about that.
Yeah, Philly, all those cities. It's crazy. It's super.
And if you think about where NBA teams are, they're metropolitan cities that are lean Democratic. Yeah. So LeBron and More Than a Vote and the other guys involved actually, I mean, everyone wants to say, oh, they're woke, but hey, they got change done.
Yeah. They may have elected the president.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break from the pod to bring you today.
Wait. Let me read this ad. This one's big.
Oh.
Wow,
okay.
We got the big guns here.
Yeah.
Big guns here.
If you guys didn't know, that's Dee Murthy here for the ad read. We usually don't.
They should know because they've been listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I know, but they expect me to bring the juice and the funny. And here we are with you two just doing the show. Yes.
So I'm here to announce the launch of GrandRunningClub.com.
Wow.
This is a passion project brand. We launched it over 3 years ago. It started as Grand Athletic Club. It's evolved into the Grand Running Club because of our run club that we launched in West Hollywood. Now it's become this global community. And we finally put it on its own site. We have international shipping.
Yes.
And most importantly, we just kicked off Black Friday already.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? If we're going to launch, we launch with deals. DEEEEEELS, deals. And my favorite item I want to talk about is the everyday pant.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, you are getting served ads from many, many companies charging somewhere between $80 to $120 for essentially a walking active pant. And I love those pants. I think they've done a great job. But guess what? They're ripping you off.
I hate how expensive they are.
Why are you charging $100 for a pant? I know how much this thing costs.
Hey, anybody out there is wondering how much it costs? It does not cost that much.
It does not cost that much.
Trust us.
So I wanted to give a pant for the people.
Yes.
For the people, by the people.
Yes.
So we're running a promo, 2 for $80.
Yes.
I literally wear these pants every single day. It's my favorite pant. I wear them in black. I wear them in olive. I wear them in khaki.
Yeah.
We launched it through the Menlo Club. It was such a popular pant. We spun it off into what I think is going to be a huge, huge, huge success.
Yes. And the best part is once you get these pants and feel them, the quality and the price you pay for them, you'll realize how big of a scumbag these large companies are. Because that's what they are. They're scumbags.
Scumbags.
Just scumbags that are good at marketing. And you, as a consumer, should know what's really going on. And we just want to give you a great, great pair of pants that you can wear every day.
You know what they are? They're good at Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Not good at giving value to their
The
customers.
social dilemma is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Social Dilemma, the hot show on Netflix.
So the people can head over to grandrunningclub.com. They're going to use the code GroupChat for a special discount.
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to give discount for this because we already made it so cheap.
Right.
And we're also doing a short sale for the everyday short. It's my favorite short. I wear it when I go to sleep every night. 2 for $65.
Wow.
Check out the site. International shipping is there. Enjoy. Group chat is the code.
Yes. And let's make it the other point. This isn't going to stay around for long.
Yeah.
This is not forever. This is only going to be for a short amount of time, very limited amount of time.
For 6 minutes.
For 6 minutes.
6 minutes after you listen to this, if you haven't bought it, it's gone.
Yes. Because we are so good at ads now, we know when you listen to this and boom.
Yeah, there's an individual tracking on every single listener I have.
Yes.
So when they listen to this ad, they only have 6 minutes. So if you listen to this on November 6th at 10 a.m., 6 minutes, 10:06 you have. If you're listening to this on December 1st, 9:30 in the morning, 9:36, it's over. That's the kind of technology that I've built over here. I'm tracking every move.
Right.
I'm tracking everything.
Right. Not only do we have technology in the ads, but also technology in the way we make these pants.
Yes.
They are incredible.
They make you lose weight instantly. You look great. You start having an enormous amount of sex.
We're about to get sued.
We just gave Tim 5 pairs.
And he's had sex every night.
Yeah.
He calls me in the morning.
Sex.
Sex. So don't miss out on that over at grandrunningclub.com. Take advantage of that for a limited time. That's going to do it for today's sponsor. Thank you so much, Grand Running Club, for always sponsoring the pod, even though, Dee, you are the one. So it's kind of cryptic and back-ended. But.
And ladies, we're launching a full collection in January. So stay tuned. Even this famous pant.
Right.
For ladies.
So we'll wait for that. I'm sure we'll get plenty of news once that does come around. Let's get you back into today's episode of Group Chat. See ya.
There was also a number of big things in California that are worthy to discuss. The biggest is Group Chat guest George Gascon won.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Congrats.
In part to us.
Yeah, we elected the district attorney. So we all have a pass in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Pete, go run wild.
This is what we did it for.
Yeah. You just show him the Kathy card when you get pulled over.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I know where you've been.
us?
Remember me?
So that was big. The measure, Prop 22, which was the big one for all the ride sharing and delivery companies for like Uber and Lyft, that passed. So that pretty much allows them to stay as independent contractors, which was a big one for Uber and Lyft. They had to win that one.
Yeah, they would have
domino
left the state. And I think if you just think about how stupid of a bill right now in a pandemic where so many small businesses are just closed, hospitality industry is decimated. I know at my local coffee shop, I don't want to say the name because who knows, whatever, the waitress and the waiter actually picked up Postmate shifts because he couldn't, the restaurant's only open 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. So he was used to making money 7 days a week. So he had to bridge the gap. So he went and became a Postmates driver, and that bridged the gap for him. And the waitress is also considering doing the same. So in the time of a pandemic where there's so many people unemployed, had this bill passed, it would have been crippling to California. Yeah. That people can't just pick up shifts at their own will and make money when they want. If you want to grind and work at one job from 12 to 6 and then go deliver Postmates or be an Uber driver from 7 to 12, that should be allowed. Yep. It was just stupid. And it's like not even thinking about, this is a progressive state. I get it. And I'm glad that clearer minds came to light and this bill passed, because that would have decimated the average worker. Yeah. And I think the thing about it is on a lot of these props and measures, I think, most people, it's very hard to get information on this stuff. Like even when I was searching for stuff, there's, you don't know
what perspective that person that's writing that article is from. So you have to take information so carefully. And I think, especially on the local level, it's really, really hard to decipher. Like, like I was most nervous voting for like Superior Court judge, knowing what I know now.
How important they are.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck.
Yep.
How do I know this guy's not a racist or this woman's not racist? So it's like, those things, I think there's a lot on the ballot that we have to find better ways to educate people on information. Because even, I read through endorsements of LA Times and all the local newspapers to kind of make my educated, decision on who to vote for and the props and stuff like that and the measures. But it's tough because even they don't really like share enough information. Like there were Superior Court judges goes, he's been an experienced litigator and he would be great for LA.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What the fuck does that mean? Like, where did he go to school? Where did he grow up? What's his deal? Like, give me some info. And I think that's the part of the election and politics that I think people are very disenfranchised about, is that it feels shady. Like, why isn't there more information on these people? Like, I don't trust it from their own website.
Right.
Like, I need independent data on these people. And if it's that important, why aren't more people sharing that information? And I was actively looking, and I would normally end up back on the LA Times when it comes to LA stuff.
It's honestly like the only people that are actually doing the diligence are like the Rotary Club. Yeah. They're probably going and meeting with all the people.
Yeah, they go, you got to go meet with George Gascon and say like, okay, tell us why you're going to be a great district attorney. And it's like 14 old people.
Yeah, and they're the community organizers that are going to go back to their neighborhoods and say, go vote for George Gascon.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But the other property tax bill
that passed, right?
In favor of the pro-business version. So basically, it's not going to reset to current value.
Yeah,
and
which would have been a disaster.
Purchase. Yeah, it would have hurt middle class people as well. So those are pro-business propositions in a very progressive state.
Yeah,
which is actually refreshing.
What's interesting is California is the wealthiest state by far. And, in terms of like the size of our economy, several of the largest companies in the world are based in California. And yet there are parts of California that feel extremely left. But for the most part, a majority of the population in California, I would say, is in the middle. Even the liberal people in Los Angeles are not falling off a cliff liberal.
Yeah, the liberal people in Los Angeles are pro-business.
Yeah.
They're they're liberal when it comes to all social values and inclusion.
Yeah.
They're very liberal on that. But when it comes to, at least in the areas that we hang out, everyone's pro-business.
Yeah, and I think that the real challenge with that is Hollywood gets magnified in the LA bubble. Mm-hmm. And what happens is like, I don't know, Emily Ratajkowski says something in Vogue or whatever the hell she said it, and that gets plastered all over the world because she's famous. Mm-hmm. Or Katy Perry says something, or blah, blah, blah says something, and that becomes a reflection of everyone in the state.
So I have a new rule. If you're that famous and you're an A-list star and you want to get involved in voice, do it with action. Do what LeBron did.
Yeah.
Go register people to vote. If you want to enter the political game, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But don't just sit on your soapbox and scream.
Yeah.
And that actually pisses people off more than actually just going and pursuing an initiative that matters to you.
Yeah. I mean, look, to be fair, LeBron gets a lot of hate.
Of course he does. But I'm saying of all the hate he got, he actually got things done. But of some of these other celebrities just posting on Instagram how they're going to cry tonight if Trump wins and I'm going to leave the country, like that's useless and a waste of time.
Yeah. And I think that stokes the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, go cry and go leave the country.
Yeah. Is anyone going to leave the country with Joe Biden victory?
Probably. Rittenhouse.
I mean, he's going to jail for the rest of his life. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on the election. But hopefully by the time this comes out, we're leaning one way. I mean, all signs looks like it's going to be Biden.
And it's going to be razor thin. He's going to, I think, win from an electoral standpoint where it's going to look like a big victory.
Yeah.
But when you look at what's going on state by state, it's
Yeah.
I mean, he's behind in every state, and we're assuming he's going to win all these states.
Yeah. Well, no, he's ahead in Nevada and Arizona.
He's ahead in Nevada and Arizona, but he's down right now in Georgia and Pennsylvania. He's going to win both.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the absentee ballots that need to be counted. I just, like, I heard today, there's 8,000 military ballots in Georgia that still need to be counted. I mean, that's a lot of votes.
Yeah.
And when the winner may win by, right now it's 9,000 votes. The winner could win by like fucking 1,000 votes, which is crazy. And like, look, if you voted for Trump in California, I mean, it's a waste of time. Like, your vote doesn't matter. It was
just to like feel good about yourself when you go home.
Like you get to go to your
you
country
get to put the
club.
flag on your boat and say, I voted for Trump.
Yeah, at least I voted for Trump. But like in these other states where it's like swing and you get to determine the president, fuck, it is important. You know, in Georgia and Pennsylvania and Florida and Texas, like, you know, Colorado, Nevada, Arizona, it's dude, every little vote, they're clawing here to victory. Outside of that, I mean, obviously, it's really all eyes on politics. The only other interesting news that's out, I saw two interesting business topics. One was goPuff, which is effectively the way you buy, what is it, vape cartridges?
No, it's convenience stores. It started around
let's just
college.
break it down for what it is.
So how it got popular? It was in college neighborhoods, and they were convenience stores, but it was on demand.
Yeah.
And they've scaled it clearly much bigger than just that.
But it's mainly, what percent of the purpose?
I think it's like the initial growth. It's like Amazon started in books.
Yeah. But it's like when you sell something so addicting, it's a good place to be.
Right.
But not, I mean,
and they definitely took advantage.
You're buying some vape cartridges, like, oh, I'll take some Cheetos.
Yeah.
But I mean, I honestly think to diminish it as just that is given what the news story is, it's clearly much bigger than that.
You're right. It was for all the high kids, too.
But so they just bought BevMo.
Yeah, they bought BevMo for $350 million.
Okay.
100-something locations. So it's really what I think it is. It's cigarettes, vape, and alcohol.
It's the liquor store.
Yes, I know it's the on-demand, but what's interesting is that like we forget like everything that really scales are people's vices. Why is the gambling business going to be so big in America? Because we fucking love to gamble. I mean, I see so many people. It's so funny. I see like fit women in West Hollywood with a cigarette in like Lululemon. And it's just like the funniest.
It's just the style of wearing Lululemon.
Yeah.
It's not because it's the symbol of health, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting. Like this goPuff company has effectively, the liquor store is so like an easy area to disrupt, right? Like think about it. With the exception of like a 7-Eleven that's global, what else is like? There's no like Lee's liquor store in every corner of America. They're owned by individual people.
Yeah, so I think this business needs to be commended because they're in such a competitive space at scale. You're competing with Postmates. You're competing with DoorDash. You're competing because you can get all these things.
But I'll tell you why they're not. Is because if you went to Postmates and you went to DoorDash or Uber,
Drizzly.
Put Drizzly aside. I think because of like image reasons, they don't shove the vices down your throat.
Right.
I didn't even know you could get alcohol in Postmates till like 6 months ago.
I mean, now they shove it in your face because every restaurant's trying to shove.
But like, you know, it was
the Craig's margarita.
Yeah.
How many times we've ordered
I've ordered that plenty of times. It's great. But the point is that like, you don't, you know, like it was like taboo for the Ubers and Postmates to shove tobacco and alcohol in your face and goPuff because they went to the college kids. College kids don't give a fuck. They want tobacco and alcohol. That's what matters.
Yeah, it's funny that I think
it's called goPuff for a reason.
Yeah, but they're a logistics company.
Just realized that one.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
No,
they found a niche.
They found the product that's viral, but what they are a logistics company.
Yeah.
So they're buying BevMo because I think they have 61 locations, something like that.
I think 100.
That's a large number. They're using those as micro fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
to deliver. And
Well,
so
the thing is they
but
also-
they're doing like Amazon, Postmates, Uber, like they're using that level of infrastructure and logistics to compete. And I think it's damn impressive.
It's also like the
to do it at scale.
accessibility of like a corner store that you
Yeah.
usually wouldn't get otherwise. I mean, you have your delivery options of all food places, and that's one thing, but this is like an untouched market that you usually can't get.
I love
like
it.
we're talking about
I
the
don't know.
alcohol delivery, like those type of snacks. You don't get those from anywhere. You don't get that from McDonald's or something like that.
And I think the one positive of like, if you think about where we are as a culture in 2020, the societal norms that were taboo 20 years ago, we've completely broken the barriers down, right?
Yeah.
OnlyFans is not taboo.
No.
Ordering on-demand liquor, tobacco, vape, not taboo. On-demand marijuana, not taboo.
Yeah.
Gambling, not taboo.
I'm going to do Go Blow, and it's going to be an on-demand cocaine service in Oregon.
Well, why not?
You'd
Sounds
be
like
out.
it's just a small ticket you got to pay.
The guy shows up
Yeah.
with a little Coke. You can blow it off a clean plate and just keep it going. Clean mirror for you.
But isn't it funny that we thought the society cared? All these things were so you can't talk about it, do it privately. Now everyone's just doing it publicly.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is like what the irony is that like all of this stuff is happening, and then a Republican Party will tell you about religion and abortion and all this shit, but everyone wants liquor, tobacco, and marijuana everywhere. Gambling.
Yeah, that's all everyone wants to do.
Yeah, vices.
Yeah, and OnlyFans.
And OnlyFans. They pretty much want to jerk off, smoke some weed, and get drunk and eat some junk food.
And bet on the if there's an NFL.
Yeah, that's it. That's America in a nutshell.
Hell yeah. And I'm here for it.
You just described
That's
the
not
perfect day for Pete.
Yeah.
And that's an average male.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Average male
That's
is-
not that hard to achieve.
Yeah, vape, drink, gamble, jerk off.
You could do that all under like $100.
Probably
and
less.
within 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, boom, you're
And
done.
by the way, now it's all on demand.
Yes.
And guess what? When everyone's at home and nothing's open, that's what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody just wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
By the
It's
time
the
you
silent
uncover it.
majority.
Exactly.
I actually think people are talking about it now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Now it's the vocal majority.
I mean, it's like, I was raised Christian, so, I'm not going to talk terribly bad on this, but it's like, it's the priests that are like, oh, you're the good guys, but like really behind doors, you're like raping like 6 kids. Like don't give that front. Like everyone's like, no, abortion. But at the same time, you're like jacking off 7 times a night watching porn. Like you're committing just as bad.
Yeah. I think in the big city where it's like everything is socially acceptable, we don't care. I don't know, like in Wisconsin, are they talking about, maybe in the suburbs, forget like Madison or Milwaukee, but like in the suburbs, like are people just comfortably like, yeah, I'm going to get on OnlyFans. I ordered my vape from goPuff. They're not talking about it.
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, especially where I grew up and things like that. Like, though it's underage kids who are getting a hold of these things, it makes it look so bad. But that's also where a lot of the knowledge of it is growing, and they're just like, oh, this is the worst thing. Young kids are just getting addicted to it. Like, it's not cool and it's not good. And I can't imagine they even know what OnlyFans is or a very small portion of it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And then the final news of the day, big news. Peloton coming out with earnings.
On fire.
Companies on fire. Stock's down.
Really?
Yes.
Time to buy the dip.
The buy maker raised its revenue outlook for fiscal 2021. This is next year. They're projecting $3.9 billion of revenue. So now we're, in the 9 to 10 times forward revenue multiple.
Seems cheap.
But here's the real problem. They said they're going to have foreseeable manufacturing issues to keep up with demand. So that's why the stock's dipping. I mean, how have you guys not figured out it's like to scale making a fucking bike?
Hey man, it's your company, bro. I'll let you take this one.
I think they're leaving a hole open for someone to come in still.
Yeah,
if you can't supply the demand.
Let me tell you what I can't wait to do when it's safe to do is go to a gym.
Yeah, everyone's dying to go to a gym.
I'm dying to go to a gym.
It's a stupid question, but like, why is California the one behind on this whole thing? I get the indoor thing, but at the same time.
Like the week that everything's open, because I knew it wasn't safe when they did open for that period of time, so I stayed away. Yeah. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to go to Rise Nation. I'm going to a gym. I'm going to Barry's.
Just get it all in.
I'm going to live at a gym for that matter.
You know, all the classes are happening.
Right.
So like Barry's is in the parking lot of the Beverly Center.
Really?
Yes.
I knew they had it in Venice. I didn't know they had it here.
And then when I go down on Santa Monica's on Saturday with Dominic, we drive up Main Street and all the yoga studios, the cycling classes, they're just putting the thing
shit outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
So classes are happening. Honestly, like in California or in LA specifically, the whole like outdoor fitness thing, like outdoor classes are going to crush in LA. Yeah. I don't like going into a dark ass studio. Put me on the beach. Yeah. Give me a bike.
No, but the dark studio was to hide if you're not as in shape as other folks.
Then, I mean,
because I'm assuming now in the outdoor, everyone has a six pack. Everyone's in perfect shape.
Yeah, there's fine people on both sides.
We don't play the safe one.
There's fine people.
Okay, I haven't been, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wonder if they'll build like an actual, because I don't do classes and I've gone to classes and I hate them. I just want to like work out on my own time, get in, get out, do the weightlifting and be done. But like none of that really, much of it like outdoor gyms don't exist outside of like
Gold's
the class
gym in
gym.
Venice.
Yeah, but
that's
like
the only one.
Right, the one and how many people are in LA and you're gonna get, it's just like too far too. But
it's a good addition, so they could double their classes, right? If indoor you can do outdoor and indoor, you can double the number of people.
What a restaurant's going to do once they can come back to indoor seating, they're going to have all these, like, you know, how many of them have built out into streets and into parking lots. It's like, are you really going to take that away or are you going to keep it?
I will say the novelty, maybe it's just because it's a little chillier at night of outdoor dining. I kind of wish I was indoors.
I mean, put a couple of heat lamps out. You have no idea what it's like to sit outside and be cold. Cold.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really eaten at night yet.
Okay.
I don't think I've gone to a dinner.
It's not that bad. You put a couple heaters out there, you're fine. Put on a nice
90 degrees today.
Well,
it's so hot today.
Next week is supposed to cool down. So.
And I think it's raining this weekend.
Good. We need some rain.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your run.
What?
You're not going to be pushing Dominic in the rain.
Well, it's Sunday. I think it's raining. I won't go then.
Okay. Take a day off.
Before we end, winners, losers, content.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to tie the bow on the election. Not to hammer a dead horse.
You're fucking hammering a dead horse.
But the two things which the irony of what Donald Trump benefited the most in the last 6 months was the coronavirus, meaning the lockdowns, I think was a huge net positive for him. Because at this point, I think you have people on both sides that think they're draconian measures, that the biggest flaw in especially a state like California and in a city like Los Angeles is they're not announcing a plan. So they're just making it seem like this is forever. And that was a great campaigning standpoint for Trump. And that's what was resonating in Michigan and why he was attacking the governor. And people in those states were like, let us do what we want to do. I'm not saying I'm advocating fully opening society up. I'm just saying that resonated with people. Yeah. And the second thing was the protests.
Yep.
And the protests were a huge, huge net positive for Donald Trump. And even though those are causes that mean a lot to us, the way the media portrayed the quote unquote violence and rioters and looters, which clearly wasn't the majority, it was just the way the media portrayed it, huge net positive because it was law and order.
Yeah, agreed.
That's it. We can go to winners, losers, and content.
Okay, let's go to winners, losers, content. I mean, I'm just going to go guess. My winner is, winner, I'm going to say it's Joe Biden.
Let's hope you're right. No, I believe so.
If I'm wrong, then...
Can you imagine if this gets flipped?
Well, if I'm wrong, I'll just deny that I said this.
Yeah, right.
I'll delete this episode and no one will ever know.
Yes.
I'm not a pussy Democrat. I'll play the game. I'll delete it. You'll never know I said it. But my winner is Joe Biden. The guy was down and out in the primaries. No one gave him a shot. Yep. I did not think he would win the nomination. There were so many sexier candidates that everyone was talking about. But good old Joe.
Good old Sleepy Joe slept his ass right to the White House.
Comeback kid came back and is going to be the president of the United States. Pretty crazy. I mean, like, what's interesting is like, you know, Barack Obama brought us like this meteoric rise from like local politician to president like this.
Yeah, he was a state senator, a U.S. senator for 2 years and became president.
Yeah, which is nuts. It just doesn't happen like that. And I think that was the power of social media and his message, and he took advantage of that. Donald Trump, you know, a novice politician, took advantage of social media, won. Joe Biden's been a politician for 40 years. This is it. This is his whole fucking life.
He ran for president in 1988.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, how far did he get?
He actually lost because they accused him of plagiarism and he had to step out of the race. Yeah. People probably don't know that.
Wow.
Some people don't know that.
Yeah, I'm sure. People don't know a lot of things, so I can't imagine they'd know all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just interesting to see, like, I mean, my guess when this guy 20, 30 years ago, his dream was to be president of the United States. And he probably thought...
1988, he ran.
He ran.
It was 32 years ago.
And then he became vice president under Barack Obama. And, you know, no one thought he would be running. I mean, I feel like he got forced into running.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we need somebody to beat Donald Trump. That guy was probably enjoying his life.
I mean, one thing that Donald Trump says flippantly in his campaign rallies, which is absolutely true, is Barack Obama did not want to endorse Joe Biden.
No.
That was not the Obama choice. Because even the Pod Save America guys, they couldn't even get Biden on.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't need your guys' support.
Yeah.
And this is in the primaries. He was the only primary Democratic candidate to not go on Pod Save America.
And he's going to be president. Yeah. That just shows you how much influence they have. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think...
He went on as a candidate when he became the presidential candidate, but not in primaries.
But it's just really interesting to see that, like, like, where he was a year ago in this race was non-existent. Mm-hmm. And then he got the nomination. And even like, if you look at like the polls, he was surging, and then like everyone thought Trump was going to win, and then Corona happened, and Black Lives Matter, and then coming up to the election, people were still like, even election night, the fact that everyone was calling it for Trump, and then all these absentee ballots came in. I mean, it's interesting.
It's a great story.
It's a great story. Big comeback. Just the whole year, it's been a big comeback for him. So, congratulations to the next president.
That's a good one. But I think my winner, other than the obvious, if Joe Biden is indeed the president, is the cable networks.
I'm sure bonker ratings.
Bonker ratings. Everyone's glued 24 hours a day. At one point, if you want to be a cynic, you could say they're the ones delaying it, keeping it closer than maybe it really is, so that everyone's just glued to the television 24 hours a day. I would imagine all the other content streaming networks are seeing plummeting in usage this week.
Yep.
And cable networks just crushed it.
They're saying Fox News primetime coverage of the election averaged 13.7 million viewers.
Yeah, that's like network television.
CNN had 9.1, MSNBC had 7.3, ABC had 6.1, NBC had 5.6. I mean, these are mega ratings for all these networks, and it was cable. So it looks like in aggregate, we had about 56 million people watch election 2020 coverage. That's on TV. Think about what 100 million people are on the internet? 150 million?
Yeah, easily.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's a monster business. Mm-hmm. Election's a monster business. And, depending on who how like the next election kind of plays out and who the candidates are, hopefully it keeps people engaged.
Hey, it's going to be so hard to top this.
Yeah.
From a ratings perspective. You get this kind of character.
Yeah. My loser is obvious. Fucking Donald Trump. Take your goddamn red hat off. I never want to see that goddamn red hat again. None of us can sell anything red because of you.
I know, you ruined it.
You ruined red hats.
Ruined it.
Probably for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, like, can you wear a Reds hat?
I mean, those people, sure. Why not? Red Sox fans are crazy. But, Cincinnati Reds, I mean.
Yeah, but sure, Red Sox too.
But, I think I see... I'm very happy to see Donald Trump leave office. I hope I'm obviously right. I'm guessing here. But he has been extremely dangerous and detrimental to the country. He brought out the worst in the country. He is a immoral. All he cared about was himself. If you thought for 1 minute he cared about America or its people, that is a lie. That is not true. He only cared about what's right for him. And I'm sorry, you cannot be a leader and care only about yourself. That is just unacceptable in any civil servant. At the end of the day, you work for the American people. You need to do what's best for us. Guess what, Donald? You're fired.
Oh, that was a good one.
You're fired.
That was good. My loser in the same area is Jared Kushner. I think Jared Kushner is
getting locked up.
Well, how old is he? He's like 38, 39, something like that. 40, something like that. He's got an entire adulthood left, and he will be persona non grata for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
No one will do business with him. No one will. And if you do business with him, you know you have the Department of Justice after you.
Yeah.
If you do anything international with them, guess what? He's going to be the most scrutinized business person for emotional reasons for time to come. And he put all his eggs in his father-in-law's basket, and I think he's screwed. Whether Donald Trump throws him on the bus and he goes to jail for whatever crimes that they want to pin on Donald and he blames it on him, that's also possible. But I think he's just going to have a very tough professional life here on out. And he chose it, and he's going to have to deal with it.
He's going to change. He's going to trade his red hat in for an orange jumpsuit.
Ooh. Just like his pops.
Yeah. Because share a cell together.
1-2 punch there.
Yeah. My content, once this election is over, I have a movie queued up on Netflix that I'm dying to watch called Holiday.
What's that?
It's a rom-com. It looks unbelievable. It looks like the movie of the year. That is what I'll be watching as soon as this dumb election is over.
Honestly,
so happy that's what you have queued up.
Yeah.
Who's in it?
You know, just familiar rom-com people.
Ah, nice.
You saw their face, like, I saw that person in that movie.
Okay.
I don't think it's anyone notable.
Okay,
I could be wrong. Maybe
could be the movie of the year.
Famous people on Earth, and I don't know. But
yeah, it's probably like Jennifer Aniston.
No, I know who that is. It's like a young crew.
Got it.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no content because I've only been consuming the election this week.
Rough.
Hopefully, Tim, why don't you recommend a rom-com for the audience?
Ooh. We're going to recommend 2 rom-coms for the content.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I like Notting Hill. I like anything by Richard Curtis. We're starting to get into like Love Actually territory, right?
Okay.
About Time, I think is his best. But anything Richard Curtis, that's my recommendation.
And that's the director or producer?
He's the director and the writer of about half of his movies.
Okay.
Great. There you go. It's probably on my rom-com list of all those.
You watched a couple.
Yeah.
I remember you saying you liked them. So
yeah, they're great.
This will count as your endorsement.
Okay, perfect.
And then we have shout-outs.
Before that, I do have one winner of the week for myself. And this is breaking in the last hour or so. Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Came
out firing.
Yes. Absolute guns firing. She played the long game here on Mr. Donald Trump after he had tweeted about her saying in reaction to her earlier this year, "So ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill." Greta just today quote tweeted him after he tweeted out, "Stop the count. So ridiculous. Donald must work on his anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with the friend. Chill, Donald, chill."
Wow.
So not only is he about to lose the presidency, but he also just got trolled by a 14-year-old girl. That one's got to hurt. That one's got to sting the most at the end here.
Oh, I mean, if the way out for Donald is not going to be kind.
No.
I mean, if the Democrats have won the Senate, they're going to, if they somehow sneak out the Senate, they're fucking going guns blazing on this guy.
And they should.
Yeah, the Southern District of New York is who you have to watch out for.
Yeah, they're coming for sure.
They're coming for him.
When's the inauguration? The next day.
Oh, last question. Does he show up for the inauguration? Donald Trump.
No, they usually leave. You're never there.
No, you're there, and then you get on Marine One, and it's the ceremonial you leave.
No chance.
He's no way, right?
Yeah.
And Barack Obama and Michelle sat there while Donald Trump was getting... you always do that. I don't know what...
Does every president do that?
I'm sure there's been a president that's an absent.
I mean, this is about to be the pettiest thing we've ever seen.
Not since we've been alive.
He's not going to sit there.
No, he's about to be so petty with this whole thing.
Yeah.
This whole thing. I can't imagine what extent he's going to go to. It'll be entertaining,
Yeah.
but
I mean, the next 2 months is going to be nuts what he's going to do.
Yeah, who's he pardoning?
Everybody.
I mean,
Who's not getting pardoned?
sure, I'm here for it. If he
Yeah.
loses and he has a couple months left, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, just get it all out. Who cares? You're the president. Go ahead. Go wild.
Oh, my God. And we have some shout outs. The first one is from Adam, giving a shout out to his girlfriend, Kylie. 25th birthday on November 10th. She just got into the pod at the beginning of the pandemic, so welcome.
Welcome. Happy to have you
listener.
here.
And she's also a big runner.
Wow.
She signed up for the first marathon, the LA Marathon, and they're going to go travel out to the Boston Marathon. She ran a half in 1 hour and 35 minutes. That is faster than me, much faster than me.
Yes, way faster.
So happy birthday. Enjoy the day. I know we're a little early, but enjoy. And then the next one is Andrea Perez,
Oh,
turning 31.
ripe young age of 31.
Yeah, happy birthday. It looks like your birthday was on Wednesday. The election night. I actually wrote this down on election night, but I got too drunk. I'll be honest. I've had a very rough 48 hours post-election. First, I had to wake up at 6 and then get my kid ready for school.
Jesus.
And I was dying. And then I'd work all day and I had to come into the office. And then finally, I wanted to go to sleep at like 8:30 because I was so exhausted. I ended up staying up till 10, and then I went for a run. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I didn't drink though last night, so that's a good sign.
That's good.
Probably for the best.
Yes. But I would love a margarita tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Right back on the train. I also have one, and it's funny because now you're in my shoes. Somebody messaged me saying, de-stiff me.
Oh, wow.
I messaged him for a shout out and he never gave it to me.
Okay, who is it?
So here's to Jose. Hey guys, big fan, been listening since Short Story Long, RIP.
Yeah.
I love that people just throw that out now. Can you please shout out my girlfriend, Lupe? She's starting her new job with a high-level position in a corporate company as a Latino woman. We are from Dallas, Texas, and in our early 30s. I've converted her to a Kathy. Thanks, Jose.
Amazing.
So,
great. We have a lot of new Kathys coming on board, it sounds like.
yes, and we're happy to have you here, especially after our huge Twitch event that we had.
We're Twitch
Wednesday night.
superstars, right?
Yes.
Bonafide stars.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows, we're going to be building up a big Twitch effort. We had an incredible experience on there. A lot of engagement, a lot of fun.
Yes.
Great time. Thank you to everyone that came out and supported us on Twitch. We're going to find some cool things to do there.
Yes. We had so much fun. We're going to take 2 steps back right now, figure a bunch of it out, and then come back guns a-blazing.
10
Yes.
steps forward.
Yes. 2 steps back is the amount of time we're able to take off. 10 forward.
Yes.
All right, guys. See you Monday.
See ya.